Hey folks, welcome. It's late, it's almost midnight, but we are here with the Hats Hits IG Live special. Glad you are tuned in through the IG, through the X, through the Facebook, through all the different platforms that you are watching. Wave at us, say hello to us, wherever you are tuning in, and let us know what you think. As week number 2 of high school football action in the books for the first Friday of September 2025. And I have some takeaways for all of you on this night in which the LA Chargers win outside the US of A against the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh my gosh, the sky is falling. The Chiefs are vulnerable. They're beatable. They're mortal. And they may not win the AFC West this year. It might not be Harbaugh's Chargers. It might be those Denver Broncos that ride high. But let's talk some high school football for all of you. Not as great a week in college football, by the way, either, as last week's outstanding slate of games. But there will be some games I'm sure that we'll all be intrigued by. A lot of games around VA that really stood out to yours truly. And the first one, I have to give a tip of the cap, my hat is off, to the best football prospect in the class of 2026 in Virginia. He didn't play last week in his team's season opening win that they had, winning by a count of 42-26, if memory serves me right, in that ball game that they prevailed in over Mills Godwin. We're talking about the Louisa Lions with Savion Hyder, the 5-star running back who's going to Michigan, and Michigan's mined Virginia. They have gotten the talent from the Commonwealth with the likes of not just Savion Hyder, but they got Markel Dabney coming from Huguenot. They got Andre Clark Jr. coming from Hermitage. They got Travis Johnson coming from Oscar Smith, as Michigan has taken over VA with a lot of the big names. But tonight, Savion Hyder in a key game against Cortland. You say, well, Cortland's not been an upper echelon team, but if you believe the simulator, the Massey ratings had Cortland beating Louisa tonight. They didn't do it because Savion Hyder didn't let them. He runs the football 16 times for 328. And not one, not two, but 3 tutties. And just like that, Louisa might have the inside track on the number 1 seed in Region 4B, which is considered by many to be the toughest or one of the toughest regions in Virginia, with Dinwiddie, with Huguenot, with the Class 4 runner-up who was number 1 last year. What's up, BJ Pridgeon out there? We'll say hello to you on IG. We'll say hello to any of you out there watching on Facebook, YouTube, IG, Twitter, X. I want to hear from all of you out there. Ask me a tough question or send me a comment. Interact with me here. But Savion Hyder, as long as he's on the field, Louisa's got a chance. Plain and simple. And you might have to go through the jungle to get to the state playoffs out of 4B. So putting that out to all you out there, Dinwiddie and Huguenot. Was coming off that loss last week to St. Chris and Verina. We'll get to you in a minute. Tough nail-biting loss to Maury. For the 804 is the 757, which was buried last week. People were burying. They were shoveling dirt on all you 757 people. I live in the 757, so I got to hear it. You're the 757 guy. I don't really care what area code. I just care about good football and quality players and teams and neat storylines and things that make for interesting fodder and chatter for all of us. So that's number 1. Savion Hyder, he showed why he's the man. Louisa's got him, and you guys don't. They got a chance with Savion Hyder. Number 2 on the Hats Hits that we have on our takeaways on the X or the Twitter at Hatfield Sports. You know, you don't always win a championship. My buddy Andy Hayes likes to say this on our NFHS broadcast. You can't always win a state championship or a championship in the first quarter of a game. But you can sometimes lose that. And the same is true with a season sometimes. You know, one game doesn't make a season. With all the NFL games coming up here week 1, and there's a lot of fans, you might be a fan of the Commanders or the Cowboys or the Lions or the Packers or the Chiefs or the Bucks, whatever team it is, Cardinals like me. And after one game, your team's going to the Super Bowl, you're playing for the number 1 pick. It's not that cut and dry and simple. 17 weeks, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I say all that to say that you don't want to also have the season go off the tracks, off the rails early on. And Alta Vista's got high hopes. They've been in the state semis each of the past 2 years, falling in the state semifinal round to Essex. And they lost last week to Central Lunenburg. And you don't want to go to 0-3 with Laura Botetourt playing next week. I'll get to your question, BJ, in a second about Highland Springs Dinwiddie. That's a great game next week. Maybe I'll have to make a trip up there. You don't want to have to see your season go off the rails. And Alta Vista was on the verge of it going off the rails. They really were. Down 19-0 to Donut. And just like that, they come back. They rally 29-25 against Riverheads. This Class 1 stalwart, this heavyweight juggernaut Class 1. They win all these championships 7 straight years. They dominate Class 1. And tonight, 29-25. Their quarterback was dinged up last week against Lunenburg. Cooper Brooks, not sure if he played, not sure how they did it with the comeback. I'll find out more details. That's not the relevant factor right now. Is the thing that matters is they won after they lost to them. I believe I tweeted out 5 straight times was the number they lost to them. If I can get my touchpad working. Yeah, 5 straight times. 5, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5, LeBron, 5. Didn't lose tonight. They pulled it out. Well, I shouldn't say it last night because we're past midnight now. That's number 2. Salute to Alta Vista. You might get the comeuppance next week, if I can say the word right, with Laura Botetourt. Try saying that real fast. But big comeback win to save your season. Sticking Class 1 for a minute. We'll get to the really, really juicy items that many of you are waiting for me to touch on here in Class 4, Class 5, and Class 6 in a second. But I want to stick in Class 1 just for a tiny little bit more. Chilhowie, the Warriors. If you watch our 757 Sports Talk show and podcast and TV program, you can watch it, by the way, on Your View and Cox in Northern Virginia and Roanoke and Tidewater, and it's available on the YouTube on Cova Sports TV. We'll put it up on our social pages for those of you not watching on the IG. It's on Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday at 12 noon, and Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. Always available on Cova Sports TV, channel 60, 74, 77, and 9 in those different markets. Hey, Norfolk Academy football watch out there. My man Steve Moniger out there. But Chilhowie, I told you all to Coach Young. He picked Lake Taylor, by the way, who lost a nice shootout game with Hampton, by the way. 2 of the most entertaining games of the night in terms of scoring. If you like high-scoring games, you loved Hampton 40, Lake Taylor 34, unless you're a Titans fan wanting the Titans to win, and you loved Gretna Bassett, which was 48-41. The Hawks soared behind Rayshawn Logan and Tyson Miller, teaming up for a TD at the end. Logan with 5 TD passes and Miller with 3 TD catches. But Chilhowie was my pick for most improved team in Virginia. They won 3 games out of 10 last year, and they're already 2-0. Chance to get to 3-0 next week when they play Narrows, who's had their number lately. But a freshman by the name of Gunnar Milhorn, 3 touchdown runs. They beat J.I. Burton 35-7. I'm not one to play the I told you so game. Oh, yes, I am. I told you so. They're 2-0. I'll say I told you so more if they get to 3-0 and 4-0. 4-0 is going to be hard. Got a shot against Narrows. East side, the week after that, we have number 2 in the state in Class 1 on Virginia Preps, just behind Essex. And they're viewed as the favorite or co-favorite in both the Cumberland District and Region 1D. All right, let's get to the real juicy items here. 4 and 5 on the topics here on the Hats Hits. And number 4, bounce back wins. Oscar Smith needed it. Maury needed it. Oscar Smith played Warwick at John B. Todd Stadium in Newport News. Warwick, who played a defensive slugfest with Mallard Creek of North Carolina, lost at 3-0. Didn't give up a touchdown and lost the game. Got it done. They beat Warwick 24-6. Lonnie Andrews III, 291, 3 TDs through the air, did his thing. Defense kept Warwick in check most of the night, did its thing. We know about Travis Johnson, who he is, does his thing. Maury had to really fight scratch and claw against Farina. On the road, number 1 team ranked in Class 4 by us at VirginiaPreps.com, even ahead of Phoebus. I'm sure the Phoebus people are going to hear about this, especially tonight with them losing, especially if Phoebus gets that streak going and the beat goes on. And I imagine they probably will. But they get the lead early, defensive score. They overcome the miscues, some interceptions. This is the big game of the week in the state. One of the big games of the year. 7-5-7, two-time defending champ, 804 team that's knocking on the door, looking to win another championship. Packed house, crazy good atmosphere, and Maury finds a way. After losing a lead, they get it back. And the thing you hear all the time from these championship programs, whether they're in the 757 or 804 or wherever, is you know about these ballyhooed FBS recruits, the 4-star guys, the top-ranked guys. Occasionally you get a 5-star guy like Savion Hyder. Those are once every 5-10 years, though, it feels like, a guy that has a chance to play on Sundays. Maury's had those guys. Oscar Smith's had those guys. They have guys like that in the NFL, like Josh Sweat for the Cardinals. And I see Pella 757 says Travis was locked down by Cartier Carey number 5. We'll get to that in a second. And that basketball coach who I know is calling me right now, who's watching this, call me when I'm done. Don't call me while I'm doing this. You're going to distract me. Anyhow, you have those guys like Josh Sweat for the Cardinals who won a Super Bowl with the Eagles from Oscar Smith. You have Keandre Lambert from Maury with the LA Chargers who got that win tonight, rookie year. His uncle Cam Chancellor played in the NFL out of Maury. But it's the program guys, the unsung heroes that make a difference. And for Maury, it's Javonte Hughes. Division II offers, not a ranked guy, not talked about as an all-state guy. He gets the scoop and score of 55 yards, sets the tone. You're not playing from behind, playing catch-up on the road, and things can go off the tracks. Big deal, and those guys help you win championships. Oscar Smith's case. Remember last year, they had injuries to that receiving corps with Johnson and Trey Jones, and Charles McGlown had a good start. And Charles McGlown tonight catches those big passes for scores from Lonnie Andrews III. And again, he's not getting all these SEC, Big Ten, but having those type of guys. Sometimes it's linemen. Sometimes it's somebody in special teams. They make a difference to win you a championship on the quest. And they both got important road wins tonight that will help them on this journey to getting back to JMU in December. Made a major difference in those games, and they make a major difference, even though they're not major household names. Ask Dorit McCain at Maury. Ask Chris Scott at Oscar Smith. And I'm sure, just like other championship programs and coaches will tell you across the board from Class 6 down to Class 1, it's a really, really big deal. And my fifth and final hat tip before I give you some quick hitters on other games, and I'll take any of your questions or comments. Interact with us on the IG, the Twitter, the X, the Facebook. We'll take this to about maybe 12:20-ish, 12:25 until I fall asleep or you fall asleep, right? Number 5, one of those teams that could be in Maury's way or Maury's in their way to getting to the championship in Class 5, the Kings Fork Bulldogs. Game I was at tonight. Decided, with all the hoopla and festivities, and I'll watch the Maury Varney game later on film. Trust me, that film will get out. That film will get to me without me even asking for it. Because people want to know, hey, you got it. Get it. If it's on stream or whatever, I'll get the film. Don't worry about it. Went to go take it in Suffolk tonight. Kings Fork and Wise. Now, Wise played Maury last year to the very end. Really good game. This is a program with 6 championships in 16, 17 years. Some of their big name prospects have moved on to the next level, but they have a lot of talent, size across the board. Kings Fork gets off to a good start. Talk about unsung heroes. A couple of them tonight for them, like Ernest Jones Jr. takes a defensive touchdown into the house. Like Darion Knight, who had 3 sacks, including 1 on the final drive for Kings Fork, helped the Bulldogs establish a double-figure lead. But Wise comes back. They make adjustments, like a lot of championship-level programs do, and they get back in the ball game. And Kings Fork gets a little stagnant. They start making some miscues. Panic could set into some teams. It didn't for Kings Fork. Props to them, Anthony Joffre and his staff, and those kids for fighting through it. And every level of that team really made an impact in the game. DeAndre Artis-Boone at quarterback recovered from a mistake, made a key play on a 2-point stop at the defensive back spot, didn't let them tie it. They did take the lead. Boom, right back. Zadarius Wynn, kickoff return. Kings Fork gets it back on a kickoff. Terrell Goodwin recovers it. And the Bulldogs tack on their score with their backs making a difference with that offensive line giving the push for Isaiah Gilliam, giving the push for the running backs, Preston Hall the third, and Kings Fork is able to hold on there. The defense made plays consistently throughout the night. Joshua Pittman, we know he's one of the big name guys for them committed to Virginia Tech. And it's a type of win that weeks from now, Kings Fork, which sometimes their bugaboo has been having some undisciplined moments, some penalties, some lapses. This is the type of win that could really help them. They have some Southeastern District foes that will be rather challenging for them. The Indian Rivers, the rival Nansemond River, and of course Oscar Smith with its name and prestige and pedigree, their program. And then regionally, in that region with Warwick and Nansemond River, and oh, by the way, Maury standing in the way, two-time state champ. Whether Kings Fork is able to climb the mountaintop or not, we shall see. But they got a real good chance. And they got a really complete team. All three phases had an effect. I might have left out Anthony Henderson Jr., by the way, wide receiver, newcomer from Bruton that came in. Oh, he's a player. He had a tremendous play in the pass game on this night. Also had a key fourth down conversion as well. So this team, not just a senior class, they've got underclassmen. Kevin Knight's a freshman people have to watch out for. He's a special talent, one of those guys that's got a bright future, much like Henderson. Across the board, really, really good win for Kings Fork over Wise. It's finally a Virginia team, finally in an out-of-state game. I was screaming about it last week, not literally screaming, but I was complaining about it. What happened? Maury loses its game out of state to Cardinal Gibbons. Oscar Smith gets shut out by Gonzaga. Liberty Christian loses to Ironton in Ohio. And Graham loses to Bluefield. And Warwick lost to Mallard Creek. Finally, and tonight, Heritage Lynchburg had its game with Bridgeport of West Virginia, who's an 11-time state champ. Really, really good. I think Heritage Lynchburg will be just fine. Highland Springs came oh so close against Huff from North Carolina. Oh so close. They lost it at the very end. Tight ball game, one-score game. I think Lauren Johnson Springers will get better from it. I think Brad Bradley's Pioneers will get better from it. And I think Smith and Maury and LCA and Graham will use these all as fuel. Win or lose, you want to compete in these matchups. And Kings Fork, this will help them. So other quick hitters on this Friday night before I take any questions or comments or just bid adieu here. How about Culpeper? First time they've ever beaten Eastern View. Salute to them. That's a good win for that program. We'll keep an eye on Culpeper to see if they're a little better than we thought. They were on my honorable mention list for top 10s, and now I'm feeling like they have a chance to maybe crack it here before September bids adieu. Got to give a couple of coaches milestone wins a shout. Tom Hall, Prince George, longtime coach at Manchester, got his 200th win tonight. They blanked J.R. Tucker, 49 Donut. Patrick Henry Roanoke squeaks by E.C. Glass. Remember we talked about Glass last week, beating Salem, the Spartans. Win number 100 for Coach Alan Fiddler. And tough night for Salem, by the way, who lost again 0-2 for the Spartans. So good wins there. Speaking of Tom Hall, former coach at Manchester, now the coach of Prince George. Manchester, a last-second field goal for the Lancers as they get it done coming from behind at Glen Allen. That was a game they needed badly in Region 6A as they want to help their situation for the playoffs and power ratings. They could run into Oscar Smith at the end come November. We talked about the shootouts with Gretna Bassett, Hampton Lake Taylor. Colonial Forge, I'm sure we'll be talking about them as they get into the teeth of their schedule. We have number 2 in the state in Class 6 on VirginiaPreps.com, 32-7 over Patriot. That North Stafford game is one I'm circling. It might be one I attend, in fact, too. I believe in late September, early October. I got to double-check the slate there on that. Magna Vista, we got them in the top 5 in Class 3, 38-0 over Martinsville. First time they've gotten back-to-back shutouts since 1991. Simeon Moore, he's a player. He's a multi-sport guy, too. Football, basketball, baseball. All you kids out there, you can play multiple sports and get it done. And he's doing it for Coach Joe Favera and Magna Vista. And a couple more for you. Let's go back to the 757 for a second. Bayside, they finally conquered one of their bugaboos. They beat Cox. Good games from Breonna Hardenet, Cam Kirby, Kyron Brown, a running back people need to start following a little closer there in the 757. He's got a future for the next level potentially too. So John White's Marlins get it done. Got some big games on deck though. Don't want to throw too many bouquets of flowers because you got Kempsville and Salem, so you can easily go from 2-0 to 2-2 if you're not careful. Want to get to 3-1 or possibly even 4-0. And the same is true for Churchland. John White's a former Hampton Pirate. Dontrell Leonard, former Norfolk State Spartan. We know about that rivalry, HU and SU. And Leonard's Truckers outlasting Bethel in overtime. Good to see the big right tackle I love so much, Whitelaw, getting some love. I know he's going to be at the OU game, I think, on Saturday. He's going to get some offers, I think, here soon. Young quarterback starting to show some coming of age. Logan Wynn was a sophomore for the Truckers. And we know, Churchland's got more on deck in a couple weeks. But in Region 4A, not a lot of talk about Churchland. We hear about Phoebus and Lafayette and Hampton, and understandably so. All have really good quarterbacks, with Maricus Banks already committed to ODU for Phoebus. Marcus Chapman's got Division I attention from Hampton, and we've talked about it, Baum Hogg from Lafayette. He's such a two-way force, linebacker and quarterback. But for Churchland, had to replace some key guys at running back and wide receiver and on defense last year. Good win to gut it out in OT. So there you have it. That pretty much covers all the bases. I do want to know from some of you out there, you can tweet us or message us or comment on this if you watch it live or later. What NFL game on Sunday? We'll leave out the Bears-Vikings as a choice on Monday. You've got the two primetime Thursday and Friday games in the books as the Eagles held off the Cowboys and the Chargers upset the Chiefs. What Week 1 Sunday game, while I'm sitting here watching the Red Zone, eating my snacks, my ice cream? I'm going to have some ice cream on Sunday. Shh, don't tell my health coach. What game should I take the clicker and move over to? I'll have the one screen on the Red Zone, but let me know, besides the one screen, what game should I be most intrigued by? And, of course, you have a primetime game in a standalone spot with Bills and the Ravens. And I'll give you my Super Bowl pick right here. I haven't done it yet on the show, the 757 Sports Talk program with yours truly, the coach, Ed Young, which you can watch for 2 hours plus every Saturday, usually from 10 a.m. to noon, but might go a little early on this particular Saturday, the first one of September 2025. But here it is, Super Bowl pick. You ready? Going to go with the Buffalo Bills over the Green Bay Packers. Yes. Not because I watched Four Falls with Buffalo on ESPN the other night when it was on, 30 for 30. And I feel bad for Virginia native and Pro Football Hall of Famer Bruce Smith for never getting that ring, and Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and Andre Reed and that crew. But because I think it's finally their time. I do. And I think Green Bay getting Micah Parsons, I like their chances the most, the blend of offense and defense. NFC's got a lot more factors than the AFC, which I limit pretty much to Buffalo, Baltimore, and there might be one more team in there. I don't know if Kansas City gets back. I really don't. I know it's just one game. You don't want to overreact, which we all tend to do. But that's what we have for you. Bills over Packers. Tell me how wrong I am and who you've got. And that's going to wrap it up on this IG Live special. We'll see what the Commonwealth college football teams do on Saturday and those beyond the Commonwealth. And there are some interesting games for week 3 that we'll dissect and get into coming up on 757 Sports Talk. I have to limit Coach Young from talking basketball like the entire show. He's got a couple of basketball guests. He's trying to sabotage football season, folks, with multiple basketball guests that he will guaranteed have on for at least 45 minutes. And I'll probably get maybe 1 or 2 questions in. Maybe, if I'm lucky. So we'll see what transpires coming up. Good night for high school football. Some compelling storylines as we move it from week 2 into week 3. And remember, for some of you out there that sent me messages or posted things on our site or anywhere in the past week, I keep receipts. Do I? That phone somewhere. I thought maybe I threw it away. I keep receipts. So when you tell me something and it doesn't happen, or I tell you something and it does happen, you will be reminded because I keep the receipts. I just have to find the receipts so that I can remind you. All right. Have a great rest of your sports weekend. Enjoy all the pigskin action and the fun. And we are into the month of September. And the marathon that this is for 15, 16 weeks has begun. Have a great one, and we'll talk to you next time. See you later.